Friday night, guys. What's going on? How are you guys? I love you guys. I truly do. Thank you so much for your continued love and support of this crazy dude. I'm telling you, I love you guys, but man, it has been a rough week. Let me tell you. You guys know that you know my situation, right? So it's been rough, and I was kind of in a funk all week, doing my very best to get out of this funk. And so I finally gave myself an ultimatum. Do I? Verena, hi, hon. How are you? It's good to see you here. Thank you for showing up. So I kind of gave myself, and I want to talk a little bit before I get into my topic today. So I finally gave myself an ultimatum. I was mad. So, not mad, but stressed, worried, right? I'm glad you're doing great. Well done. Um, so I'm like, great, okay. I have very little money. Never wanted to be in this state in the first place. So I kind of given the old man, and father has a beautiful sense of humor. So when you hear me call him, hey, pal, or, the boss, or, whatever, it's me giving him the business. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm going back to Arizona. You know what? I have very little money. I should make it there on fumes, but I'm going back to Flagstaff. I was kind of, like I said, I was doing my very best to stay positive in my mind, right? Fear is an illusion. Worry is an illusion, right? So I'm like, but something in my gut was telling me, if you do this, it's going to be bad. Intuition, right? That's coming from above. When you have that gut feeling just deep in your guts, like if you make this move, it's going to be wrong, right? So I knew if I packed my shit up and went to Arizona, that it would not be a good thing. One of two things happened. I would break down, or I'd get there, and just like they did when I was in Prescott, they'd get me sick, off to back here. Now I was like, so I asked for a sign. I said, I need something. You won't let me have a job. I am now on absolute no money. Okay. I need something from you guys. So yesterday, they will use technology for like YouTube, Facebook, whatever, songs, angel numbers. They will use any kind of communication they can to get a hold of you. So yesterday I got absolutely two badass confirmations without questions. Even the exact wording that I used was used by these two people that came on, one on Facebook and one on YouTube, and they were both in my algorithms out of nowhere. Absolute divine confirmation. Exact wording, exact wording that I used. So I'm staying in California. Tomorrow I will pay for my last week. And I just know something's going to happen, right? Today I was bombarded with angel numbers up the wazoo. Okay. Who's saying hi? That's how you know. That's right. Gut instincts, right? That's your guardian angel saying, yep, listen. If you go, something bad is going to happen, right? Hi, user. How you doing? Welcome. I did do a couple videos. They're not out yet. My video guy he's got some technology. He's switching over things. So this video I thought was going to have been out already, the topic that I'm talking about. So it's going to be a precursor. But so today, hi. Let's see. Is this the same guy? Gary. Hey, Gary Piccolo. How you doing, bud? Welcome in. So I got absolute divine confirmation. All right. Today I was bombarded with angel numbers everywhere. Every kind of angel number. Right call. I made the right call by staying here in California. They wanted me. Correct. And I knew it when I was going to go to when I was going to go to Arizona. I'm glad. And thank you. All right. So I'm staying here. It was absolute divine confirmation. So much so that I even ordered some takeout. I got some before I got here. I got some Wingstop. So I got some chicken wings and celery. Anyway, celebration. I made the right call. Yay me. Even though I've got zero money, I'm still celebrating. Why? Because if I didn't, that's falling into fear, right? Fear. It's an illusion. Just like what is taking place now. Me talking about all of this is an illusion. It's the past. It's already happened. Okay? So, today's topic, Mary Magdalene, is another controversial figure discredited by the church and downplayed by the church and basically lied to, just like they lied to you about Yeshua, about Jesus. So I'm going to intermix the two when I talk today, and I'll try and talk for about a half an hour so I can let you guys ask me some questions on topics, on things that are on your mind and stuff like that, because I want to hold this open. Remember now, tomorrow as well, I do my collaborative live. So tomorrow we'll be live again, so you guys can join in, and this will be a topic of, the tri-topic, and possibly more people will be coming in, panelists and stuff like that, to talk with you. Well, we're trying to get that taken care of with you guys as well. So you'll really have the opportunity to ask all of us important questions. Vanessa has had 2 near-death experiences and a lot of, STEs. I've had my near-death experience, 2 out-of-body experiences, 4 meetings with the Holy Spirit or angels, right? And many, many other divine or spiritual experiences too. So it's a good panel. Stick with us. I think you'll enjoy it. So don't forget about that. Same time tomorrow night. Mary Magdalene. Who is Mary Magdalene? The church calls her a whore. Church calls her a drug addict and a drunk and a low-life piece of shit, basically. And I'm here to tell you that's exactly the opposite. She was, in fact, Jesus's wife, mother of his children, a beautiful being, adored by him in his physical form. And those two, like any young couples, when they met, they were, I would say, late teens, 16, 17, 18, somewhere in there. Remember, Jesus was born roughly between 6 and 4 BC, okay? Don't know when Mary Magdalene was born, but they were well within very close ages when they met. And of course, both were Middle Eastern. The Bible describes Mary Magdalene, and even in Da Vinci's painting of the Last Supper, right? Mary Magdalene has red flowing hair. Wrong. Mary Magdalene did not have red flowing hair. Mary Magdalene was a Middle Eastern woman, just like Jesus. Guess what? Jesus was black with black hair, okay? Now, to the extent of how black he was, don't really know. My guess is middle of the road. Disheveled beard and disheveled hair, okay? Mary Magdalene, same thing. Middle Eastern woman. Long black hair, as you see with every Middle Eastern woman. Right now, 2,000 millennia later, women with black hair. Most of them are covered up now because they want to, but when you see Middle Eastern women, they're generally darker skinned. Some of them light now because we've had 2,000 years or 1,000 years of intermixing. Good for us. But back then, long black hair, darker skin. Yes, black people. Second, they met and were infatuated with each other. And what do young couples do even now? What do? They get together, they sneak out, and they go and they have their shenanigans. But these two would wander off, and where into the woods, into nature, into trees and grass and all of that, right? And they would sit out with each other as often as they could, because Jesus by this time had begun his early ministry. And Mary Magdalene was a part of that. Remember, Jesus was about egalitarianism, equality. It didn't matter who you were, man, woman, child. It did not matter. You were the equal to Jesus. So Mary was not only his spouse and mother of his children, but his exact equal, and was treated as such. Okay? Let's see here. For me, it was a 360 view of wait with me jumping in and out of bodies, different people and stuff like that. Bugs, rodents, reptiles, and seeing my spirit guides all dressed up in white robes. Yes, I've seen many spirit guides. I've seen half-bodied apparitions walk through my apartment. White robes, sandals. Only saw them to about here. Walked right through my apartment before I moved out here. And I've already had a divine spiritual encounter out here. Um, just the sensation of curiosity. Um, so those two would steal away together. Now, whether they were playing sexually or not, who the hell cares? Good for them if they were. Didn't matter. It was natural and normal, just as we do it today, right? When you're infatuated, young love, you meet, you do, and guess what? You're intimate. You want to share a body. It's beautiful, natural. So, Mary Magdalene did not have red flowing hair. She had black hair. Secondly, she was black, okay? A Middle Eastern woman. They spoke ancient Hebrew or Aramaic, right? Nothing like what's portrayed in movies today. So, Mary Magdalene was his partner and wife that he had loved and adored, and was part of his teaching process. But prior to this, and this is what I talked about in who the real Jesus was. So these two are infatuated with each other. Now, imagine this taking place when young couples meet, right? Or you're in your 30s and you've got the butterflies and the love bug going full board, right? Jesus said, I have to leave. Okay. Jesus said, I'm going to be gone for 3 years. Now, 3 years, that's a long time. Okay. That's a long time. I've been away from my children for close to a year now, and I miss them terribly. All right. Both my girls. Now, we have the added benefit of iPhones. We can talk on an instantaneous basis, message, whatever. When Jesus, that day, it was time for him to leave. You have to remind yourself, Mary Magdalene was a young woman in her early 20s by now, okay? Early 20s, maybe 22, 23, or younger. She watches Jesus walk off into the distance and gone. Now, for 3 years, there's no communication, okay? They don't have children yet. They're in young love. There's no communication between Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Now, like I said, we have iPhones. We can talk, we can do whatever, right? There was no communication. It was young love, infatuations, probably hugging and kissing, all of that, and then he's gone. Jesus is off because Father told him he's got to go out east. He traveled across North Africa, right? When he ran out of money, what did he do? He was a working man. He didn't have a high altitude job. He loaded ships, took care of the docks, made privies. Privies are bathrooms, made carts, whatever. He was a carpenter, tape, whatever. He worked for money, backbreaking labor, right? Made some money, gold, silver, grabbed another caravan and made it all the way across into India, where the masters were. So when you hear about Jesus being, raising people from the dead, curing leprosy, blindness, whatever, paralysis, whatever. Out in the East, even to this day in Hinduism and Buddhism, it's normal, it's natural, right? So Jesus was instructed to go out there to learn from the masters, where he stayed for approximately 2.5 years, learning how to meditate, learning how to control the mind, learning how to go within and find out who he really is, right? And he learned from the masters. Now he gets assigned, it's time to head back home. Now, Mary Magdalene in this time, you can imagine, now I'm talking to the female bodies that are listening to me right now, or whenever they listen to this live stream. We all know what you guys do, right? What do you think she did? Right? She went into full-blown pout mode, right? Threw temper tantrums, locked herself in her room, and pouted like you would never know. So where did this bad rap that Mary Magdalene got? Because now she's in full-blown pout mode, but she was treated like shit for a majority of her life, and her mother. Well, the reason isn't what you think. She wasn't a drunk, and she wasn't a whore, and she wasn't a prostitute. All of the above, okay? Mary Magdalene was brutally looked down upon in society because Mary's mother was a single mother, okay? Just like the stigma single moms get in today's age. Nobody wants to deal with your crap. you're garbage, meaning your kids, right? Not, I don't think that way. Okay. But I'm saying most of society, single moms have a very hard time dating because nobody wants the baggage, so to speak, right? Well, back in ancient times, 2 millennia ago, this was a no-no, people. Now, I don't know what happened to, if you want to call him Joseph, okay, whatever the Bible says. So let's just call it Joseph. Joseph was gone, whether he was killed or said, I'm out, okay? Not the story that the Bible's painting to you guys, all right? Mary Magdalene's mother, Mary, was a single mother raising Mary Magdalene on her own. Heavily, heavily frowned upon in that time period. It was a no-no. She was a despicable human being to society at that time. Okay. So whenever she went out or whenever she was around, she was brutally, not beaten, but verbally abused. Okay. So was her mother. So they really stuck to themselves. When they had to go out, they could only go out at certain times. You have to remember, women could not walk down the street by themselves in ancient times. They had to be with somebody, generally a male, if they wanted to go for a walk. They could not walk down the streets by themselves. That was an instant stoning. You would be stoned. Okay. So now imagine Mary's mother being a single mother raising another female. Nah, they were disliked immensely. Okay. Mary Magdalene had a very, very brutal childhood. It was rough for her growing up, even as a teen. Okay. That's why women went to the wells in the morning. No men were up. They were not allowed to be seen. So Mary was up before dawn or before the crack of dawn, going to the wells, or Mary's mother, getting all the supplies that they needed for the day, and they were indoors. So you can imagine when Jesus left, she wasn't allowed to go outside. When she was with Jesus, that was okay, right? They were seen as a couple. Now, it was also heavily frowned upon that she was already not married at the time. And I guess in Jewish law, especially back then, 2000, you got married very early on in life, like 12, 13, somewhere in that age was a very common age for people to be getting married back then. Okay. Even in our times in the 1700s, 1800s. Hold on, guys. When I finish, I'll start answering your questions. Even here in the 1700s, right? 1700s, even early 1800s, you were married off at the age of 9, 10, having children at that time. Okay. So 2000 years ago, this was normal for her to have already been married and possibly spitting out kids. So it was nobody wanted Mary Magdalene. Okay. She was a black spot on the community at that time, a horrendous spot. And I know this is not what you've grown up with, learning, oh, Joseph and Mary had kids. Jesus was born in a barn and Phil. Oh, no, this was not it at all. Okay. This was not how it went down. So now Jesus is on her way back, but she doesn't know this. So for 3 years, her mom's getting mad at her, right? Would you come out of your room? Would you quit pouting? Come out here. He's more than likely dead. Jesus is never coming back to you. He's dead. It's been 3 years. Now, one day, right? You walk outside and you turn around and look down the street. Here comes Jesus, right? What do you think she did? She ran full speed, jumped in his arms. Now, by this time, Jesus came back and he's now in his late 20s, probably 27, 28. And what do you think is the first thing that he was hit with, right? Because he was born like I was born into Christianity. I didn't have a choice in the matter, right? I'm an infant getting baptized and all that bullshit. Well, he was born into being a Jew, right? Just like Mary Magdalene, born in the Middle East. You're born into being a Jew, right? Now they're under Roman occupation. So now you have the Romans with all their gods and deities and all of that crap, right? But Jesus was born a Jew. So now they're getting pressure from the community and Mary's mom, Mary, to get married. right? Well, now it's frowned upon because it's way late, right? That was way late to be getting married. Well, they got married. Yay. Now, Mary isn't looked down upon or have that black spot, right? She's married to this highly religious man, right? But the society yet doesn't fully understand or know what he's about to be truly teaching, which was beyond revolutionary at the time, okay? He also taught his wife what he learned from those 2.5 years from the masters out east in India, okay? He came back with the ability to do the things that he did. We all have those abilities to do what he did, right? And one of the things he said, two of the biggest things he ever said, anything I can do, you can do, and more, right? Mary Magdalene learned how to do those things on top of being a wife and a mother. So what did he do? In his early teachings, he kept his teachings in his home. Jesus had a home, a family, a man, no different than me or any male watching this right now, okay? So he would invite people into his home to teach. Mary Magdalene was right there. Kiddos were either asleep or doing whatever they were doing. Jesus had 2 boys and a girl, all right? And that's all I know about them, so don't ask. I don't know their names or whatever, and it's really immaterial. Mary Magdalene was a part of that in every way, shape, and form, guys. Every way, shape, and form. He or she was Jesus's equal on every level and was taught on every level everything he knew, okay? So in the beginning, the 2 of them would have people, or teaching sessions into their home, right? And people would immediately come into their home and feel an instant healing and an unbelievable amount of love. Jesus radiated nothing but unconditional love, all right? So when people would come in and he would start teaching these 2 things would happen. More than likely, most people would get up and freak out, okay? And get up and leave saying, no. I don't want any of this, right? Because what Jesus was teaching could get them killed. And in fact, it got him killed, right? They could have easily stoned Mary to death for what the knowledge that she knew. She was not allowed to have that knowledge. Correct. Darkness is afraid of the light, right? So these people would run out and run away. But those that stayed knew something special was happening, right? They knew, or their soul knew, that this was correct, right? So they stayed. But then things changed, right? What changed? Well, the people's reactions to what Jesus was beginning to teach. Jesus and Mary had a powwow, okay? And they came to the conclusion that, look, it's probably not a good idea for you to be teaching this in the house, right? So that's when the most common form of Jesus, right? He took the show on the road, guys, right? He left the household and he traveled to nearby areas. Most namely that you guys know is Capernaum, right? And into the city of Jerusalem. But most of his teachings took place in a town called Capernaum, where he would really get into what Father and what I am teaching you is the truth of who we are, right? Jesus did not hold back on anything at any point in time. Jesus was a rebel. I need you guys to understand this very well. I know this is Mary Magdalene, but I've spoken about her. Jesus was a rebel. He came here to muddy up the water. I mean, to stir up the pot and to piss people off. Mary Magdalene was a part of that. She, in some instances, in most cases, she did follow him to Capernaum. He would have probably Mary watch the kids or bring them with and stay off in the distance, Okay, but Jesus took his show on the road. Mary would follow in most cases, but if not, she stayed home to tend to the kids. Um, but what he was teaching was beyond revolutionary. The only way to fix things is through love and forgiveness. Only way, right? What does the light do? As Verena said, it shatters the darkness. Darkness is simply the absence of light. As the Holy Spirit told me last October 3rd, you are the light of the world, right? The light of the world. That is beyond. I mean, my jaw hit the floor when he said that, right? The light shatters the darkness. Jesus, as he said, I am the light of the world. He was here to bring all of humanity or that area out of the darkness. Wake up. Realize who you are. What you're experiencing is a dream, an illusion. It's the past. This already happened. This conversation that I'm having with you right now is the past. It doesn't exist. This happened billions and billions of years ago, guys. This very conversation happened billions of years ago. What you're experiencing right now is the past. It doesn't exist. When you look up into the night sky and you see the stars and the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy, you're looking into nothingness. There's nothing but blackness there. Okay? You are simply experiencing the past. And Mary Magdalene has been brutally shit on by the church for millennia. A scapegoat, just like they hid who the real Jesus was. And I've explained to you numerous times. I even made a video about it. I just did a video about Mary Magdalene, who Mary Magdalene really was, as I briefly explained to you right now, has been covered up by the church. Okay? Simple as that. You know me, guys. I don't bullshit you. I don't hide anything from you. I don't cover anything up, and I don't sugarcoat anything from you guys. I never have, and I never will. Okay? But it's important that you know, because The Chosen is out, right? And many of you may have seen The Chosen. I'm a big fan of it, believe it or not. And I think this is by complete accident that Dallas Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen, actually gets a lot of shit right. There are many scenes in there that I'm blown away by because he's trying to follow the Bible. And I think a lot of the shit that he gets is completely by mistake, but he's doing it. There's some things that he's getting absolutely right about who the real Jesus was. So and when you see me wearing The Chosen stuff, I follow the message of love and forgiveness, right? That's who the real Jesus was. It's who he is to this day. I experienced that love on the other side in my near-death experience. When he showed up and bestowed the love upon me, that was, I can't even begin to tell you the kind of love it was. It is simply no way to describe it, right? Mary Magdalene is also now enlightened, meaning she will never incarnate again. She has the choice if she wants, but she chooses not to. I don't want to incarnate again. I don't want to be attached to a body anymore. I'm done with it. I want no part of it. But that's who the real Mary Magdalene was. So if any of you, and I'm not done with it, here's the end. So if any of you have watched the movie The Da Vinci Code, right, with Tom Hanks, Sophia, you're the last living descendant of Jesus Christ. Well, who cares who his descendants are? I have thousands of descendants out in the world right now from other lifetimes and all that good jazz. Who cares? Okay, who cares? But what they did get right is after Jesus was crucified, Mary Magdalene was the last one there to watch her husband go through that. But she also knew that Jesus was not in the body. Jesus felt very little, if anything, absolutely no pain at all during the crucifixion. From the time it took place till the very end, he was not in his body. He was watching it from home, right? Mary Magdalene was also there the day the body was gone, right? Well, the body wasn't gone, but when she saw him 3 days later, she was the first to see her husband. Okay? Then you know the story. went and all the disciples, he hung out with them for 3 days. And then, he simply walked off and vanished, right? Well, what you don't know is that after his crucifixion, Jesus would come at night only, because everybody was in lockdown or at night asleep, right? Jesus would come and spend the night with his family and children. Father allowed that to happen. Spent time with his children, and especially he allowed it for what Mary had to go through, watching all of this and being a part of all of this, right? It's kind of a gift from Father to Mary for watching that and being a part of that. So Jesus, for the next 6 years, would come at night. But shortly after, they were living in Jerusalem, right? What they did, along with two of the disciples, and I do believe one of them was Simon Peter, and I cannot think of the other one at the time. I cannot. It's escaping me. Two of them, in the middle of the night, jumped on a ship and sailed across the sea. Now, where did they end up? This is where the Da Vinci Code comes in handy. They ended up in northern France, where in the Da Vinci Code at the end, Tom Hanks found the tomb of Mary Magdalene. That is absolutely correct. Mary Magdalene made it to France with two of the disciples and her kids, okay, where they started a completely new life. Now, Jesus was still there, but now he stayed there for 6 years. What did he do? He started his preaching practice with the two of the strongest disciples. All right? And I do believe Simon Peter either died in 77 AD. I think he was beheaded because of the teachings. But anyway, Mary Magdalene lived out her lives with her children until the age of 88, where she died. Where her body is, I don't know if that's true in the Da Vinci Code or not. I could care less. The body means absolutely nothing. Mary Magdalene made it across the sea with her children and Jesus and lived out her life in northern France. Now, I'm sure she had the disciples there, and whether she was well known or whatever, you see the people trying to protect Mary Magdalene's grave or the secret of Jesus's disciples. The church doesn't give a shit about Jesus's bloodline. They could care less about his bloodline or about Mary Magdalene in that instance, right? Mary Magdalene was just rewritten out of history like Jesus was. Church doesn't care about the bloodline. What they do care about is what he was teaching. Okay? They do know that. That's what the Crusades were for. First in 1099, and then I think 1200, I think the other one, or 1100 took place. The second Crusades. Could care less about the dates. But that's when they rounded up every bit of information that pertained to Mary Magdalene and Jesus, the Gnostic Gospels, and all of that crap. Whatever they couldn't find, or whatever, they destroyed, and it's now in the Vatican archives, where nobody is allowed to go. Nobody is allowed down into the archives. I don't care who you are. You are not allowed down there, and you will be shot on sight if you could even get past security to get down there. So there you have it, guys. That is the real Mary Magdalene, okay? Not what you have been portrayed as. And that kind of ruins Christmas because, well, Christmas is simply a state of mind. Christmas doesn't exist. Jesus was not born on December 25th. More bullshit from the Catholic Church. Mary Magdalene, that's her. A beautiful being. So what do we got here? Archons, let's see. Yeah, darkness free. He was teaching people empathy first and foremost. Correct. Keep in mind, everyone is worthy of all the love in the world, and then some. You have no idea. That is correct. She had to forgive them for what happened. Absolutely. Absolutely, she forgave them, just as I forgave the church. It took me a minute. Trust me, it took me a minute when I came back from my near-death experience to forgive the church for what they have done. And that's where, when I was going through recovery, not being able to find a job, being evicted, my car got repossessed after my death because I had no friends, no family, no nothing. That's when I heard start your website, right? couple days later, start your YouTube channel. You know, Father was like, I need you up and running, man. Come on, let's go, right? Because here I am a few years later in California. Everything you've been told, ladies and gentlemen, has been an outright lie and an absolute cover-up. The Vatican has been lying to you, deceiving you, manipulating you to believing that you are unworthy of love, unworthy of heaven, unworthy of God even looking at you. And I'm here to tell you the truth, right? I will not lie to you. I will not hide it, cover it up, or sugarcoat it. I will tell you how it is. And I will not stop, okay? I can't even begin to understand the life Jesus lived, the knowledge he had. It is mind-blowing. It is. Even all the spiritual things happening to me, and all the seeing half-body apparitions, all the meetings with the angels, or as I've told you now, it's simply those meetings were the Holy Spirit, okay? Mom, okay? God's divine feminine. We're all God, period. End of subject. So mom, in essence, right? Guiding me here. So to understand what Jesus was teaching, the level of knowledge that this being had. Remember where God found him, not only was he in another dimension, we all come from another dimension, so don't let that frighten you. But Jesus was a highly advanced being in a highly advanced society, okay? Period. He went through all of this crap that we're going through now, right? So when Father found him and brought him in, he was a master. He mastered the body. He mastered love. He was the perfect being to be brought in to do this, right? Was Mary his first initiate? Apologies, I'm just catching up on some of these teaching he speaks of. Mary Magdalene was one of his first, yes, because those two were, now he was teaching, but he did not have his disciples yet. Mary Magdalene was, I would say, one of the first, yes, because he was teaching her as a young adolescent adult, right? 15, 16, 17, whatever, give or take a few years, in either direction, guys, okay? So yes, she was one of his first, right? They were lovers. And you know what lovers do when you fell in love at that age with your first, right? You were sneaking away, hugging and kissing, dancing and loving, probably doing whatever. They were no different than us, guys, okay? You need to understand that. You think there was something special, some black and white picture show, right? No, they made love like we did. They went to the bathroom like we did. They ate food like we did. It was simply, I hate using this term because it doesn't exist, a different time, right? Did they have the technology that we have now? No, right? But they did the same things. They fell in love the same way, right? They did the same things. They rebelled against their parents. What did we do? When I'm a Gen Xer, in Gen X, I thought my father's way of and my mother's, what were they? Baby boomers. There's fucking ways of thinking were outdated and stupid, right? I'm a teenager. It's the 80s. This isn't the 1940s, people. Get real, right? So what do? We rebelled against our parents. What did Jesus and Mary do with their parent? They rebelled, right? They went out and did their things. But Jesus was being guided, right? So he was teaching Mary. I mean, I couldn't even imagine the knowledge that she was just soaking up from Jesus, even as a young teen or a late teenager when he was teaching Mary. It must have been phenomenal. I would have, in what I've come to in all my knowledge and spiritual experience, I would love to be taught by Jesus firsthand, right? I mean, come on. But back then, they didn't know any different, just like we didn't know any different as teenagers when we were 16 or 17, right? The knowledge coming in. We just blew it off. But Mary knew something special was happening here. But she also knew that she was madly in love with Jesus. And Jesus, same thing, madly in love with Mary Magdalene, adored her, treated her as his very own equal, right? And that's what I need you to understand with her. Jesus and Mary Magdalene were husband and wife, mother and father to their children. Yes, Jesus took the show on the road, but Jesus came back every night and spent his night with his families. What do families do? What do couples do? They made love. He was a master of love. He was a master of the tantric arts, right? No different than any couple listening to me now. Okay, period. I just don't get how this fantasy, they imagine what people are like. It's because it's what they've been taught by the church, right? You get it shoved down your throat from the time you're a little kid, like I did as a Catholic, right? As a Christian, I had it shoved down my throat horrendously going to Catholic school for 2 years. You get this shit shoved down your throat every day of the week, right? I had to enact plays. I was Jesus with the bleeding woman. Okay, I thoroughly believed that what I was being taught was the truth. It was, why would my grandmother, who absolutely adored me and did everything in her power to keep me from the abuse that I was getting from my parents, mainly my mother, right? Why would I doubt what I was being taught being the truth, right? Because she was Catholic. She believed, because her mommy and daddy told her the same thing, right? Handed down. Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, right? You believe, right? Now, if I asked you, is Santa Claus real? Is the Tooth Fairy real? You're going to say, well, of course not, Jason. No. Why not? Mom and Dad told you that too, right? So are you going to believe every goddamn book that you read? No. I could write a Bible tonight, have it published and put it out, and have people begin to follow it. Does it mean it's right? Okay, we have to wake up to this fact, okay? That is part of why Father chose me for this mission. I will not back down. He gives me the information that I need, directs me to it, and I'm going to be his teacher. I'm going to be working my way up to a master, okay? I will not allow this shit to fly. I will not. That's why when I told you I came back from my near-death experience, I was pissed off, right? What's the first thing I said? Well, you weren't there. I was like, I was lied to, right? I was lied to. I was mad. I was angry. Then I went to the church, to the Catholic church, to the priest, to where I was going, right? Had this long 45-minute conversation. He sat there completely freaked out. Never moved for 45 minutes. Then I was blacklisted from the church, booted out. Don't ever come back. Don't text me. Don't call me. Oh, okay. There you go. There it is. There it is. Hook, line, and sinker. Done. You guys are, I know I'm just telling a story. He's telling me to calm down. That you guys were nothing but liars. You are not, and that's why Father said, go to church, right? You'll see. And I was shown the truth. His face turned white as a ghost. Right? He couldn't get me out of there fast enough. He wanted me out of his path, of his flock. And I was more than happy to. Okay. I will not stop teaching you guys the truth of who we are and who you are. You don't need to be saved. Okay. You don't need to be saved. You are all one with the Father. You are all God. End of subject. There is nothing else. There is nothing else. And I want the truth about who Mary Magdalene really was out there. Because every time you see the Da Vinci painting of the Last Supper, there's Mary in her white pale face and her red flowing hair. Fuck you. She was a Middle Eastern woman and she was just as black as Jesus was. Okay, with black hair. So, you start telling people everyone goes to heaven. There is no hell. Bible. Right. People get mad. I get yelled at pretty consistent. On Next Level Soul, many of you guys have watched my Next Level Soul with Alex. I had somebody tearing me up. Oh, I heard you say that you were one with the light and you became this. No, you weren't. You are not God. You were not one with the Father. Only Jesus is one with the Father. You are a liar, and I highly doubt you even had a near-death experience. I was like, wow, I got you mad. That really, and I was like, I did my job. I love it. Right. And I kindly said, well, I'm the one that died. I'm the one that had this experience. I'm sorry that it upset you so, but you're taking your anger and your, frustration out on me. So clearly I'm telling you the truth. You just don't like it. You're projecting your unconscious guilt and anger out on me. That's okay. But please don't tell me what I experienced in my own death. Why are you coming to watch a near-death experiences and then telling people they didn't experience this? Clearly, you're lost in that darkness, and that's okay. You're right where you need to be. There's nothing wrong with that. I said, I love you. And I said, I wish you nothing but the best on your journey. Right? And away you go. Love and forgiveness, people. That was it. Love and forgiveness. Right? That's what Jesus taught. Why would I get mad at somebody lost? It would be like getting mad at a 2-year-old. How can you get mad at a 2-year-old? They're trying to figure things out, right? Yeah, are they going to fall down, smash their face, possibly stick their finger in the light socket? Well, they're going to find out real quick that wasn't a good idea, right? So it's like I did my job, right? Clearly, I pushed the right buttons. It's the power of the mustard seed, right? Maybe in a year from now, 5, 10 years from now, that light bulb is going to go off and go, wow, right? Wow, right? It doesn't matter. That's what it was about. And that's what I loved, right? I don't know who you are. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I love you too. I'm glad you find me adorable. Thank you. Gary, we are all one, all connected. Quantum entanglement. That's it. When I tell you this, when I say God is, okay, there is nothing else. That means exactly what Jesus told you. I and the Father are one. Jesus was not, you take what people have taken his words literally. Like when I say those words, Jason Janice is one with the Father and that's it, right? No, when Jesus was speaking, he was speaking to the masses. When he said, I and the Father are one, he meant all of you are one with the Father, meaning you are all of one mind. We are all of one consciousness. Remember when I did a video on consciousness too. I'm still debating whether I want it out there or not. I really went in depth this time on consciousness, but I was kind of being a bum. I don't know. I may redo it. I may just send it out so you guys can see it. But Jesus meant by that statement, we are all of the one mind, one consciousness. Consciousness doesn't go up or down or move left or right, right? What consciousness are we talking about? The Father, right? So Jesus meant that we were all the same. We are all of one mind. There is nothing else. And what you are experiencing right now is what he was trying to tell you, that this is all past, that what you're experiencing isn't real. Wake up from the nightmare you're having. It wasn't never meant to be a nightmare. It was meant to be a beautiful experience, but we created such filth, we've enslaved ourselves to ourselves. That's the crazy thing, right? All the shit that we set up, we've enslaved ourselves in a dream. And then we get mad about it because, the whole point is to remember who we are. That's the whole point of coming here, guys, right? Is to remember who we are, not to go to school. There's nothing we need to learn. What does God need to learn? Jason, are you any big chance from Northeast somewhere? No, I am originally from the Midwest, from Wisconsin. I basically spent 50 years in Wisconsin. And then I was told to come out here to California, right? Sacramento area, which still burns my... Andrew, I'm doing good, Andrew. I mean, please release the consciousness video. Okay. I might have to do it because I was kind of leaning back in my bummed out clothes and I was kind of just ranting. I just hit record and started going and I was like, you don't really look the best. You didn't shave, you didn't shower, But if you guys want that kind of video, I can put it out. But the Mary Magdalene video I had already done this week as well. And I got the video And he's going to make some shorts out of my Next Level Soul as well. So you're going to see a lot of stuff get posted pretty soon. But if you want that consciousness video, I could possibly redo it tomorrow, or I'll just listen to it again. And I just wasn't looking the best. I was kind of just I was in full bum mode. I didn't take a shower. I didn't put on good clothes. I just kind of was laying back, and I just hit the record on the camera and just started speaking. But if you want it out, I'll put it out. Okay. All right. I'll put it out then. I'll upload it, and he'll see it, and he'll put that out too. But that was just me speaking, me being real in a real moment of vulnerability, of thinking of you guys. And I just hit go. Fear is not real. But why do we get afraid and it feels so real? Because when you uploaded the game of life, right, it does feel real. It's meant to draw you in. It's meant to suck you in. It's meant to appeal to you, right? Oh, look at the new purses. Look at the new homes. Look at the cars, right? It's like taking a 2-year-old that got their first take of sugar into nothing but a candy store. You're going to see their eyes get big and they're going to run, right? This world is meant to suck you into it. It's meant to draw you in. It's like a heroin addict to heroin. When they see a wad of heroin, right, they're going to get right. It's meant to draw you in, right? It's meant to get you lost. So once you're lost, what's the only way back? I was once lost, but now I'm found, right? It's a voyage of rediscovery we're on, guys, right? At some point in time, you're going to look back and you're going to walk out and you're going to go, excuse my language, and you're going to look out at the city that you're in and you go, the fuck is the point of all of this? What is this, right? That's why when you see me, when I tell you that I don't interact with society anymore, like the first thing I do when I walk out, like tomorrow when I go do laundry and stuff, the first thing I say is none of this is real, right? When I look out there and I see the cars driving and I see the lights in the city and stuff, the first thing I say is it's not even real. It's so mundane and blah that's the point you want to get to when you wake up and you realize that none of this is real. It's an illusion. Not only that, it's the past, right? So when I told you guys what you're experiencing in this life right now, right, it's a rerun. So in the moment, right, I'm going to draw that straight line, and all of a sudden you had the Big Bang, right? We all fell asleep and created the universe. But in that moment, that explosion took place. Not only did every single one of your lives take place, they all took place in that trillionth of a second and were over and completed. And then God said, whoa, Father said, okay, fix that, right? And then back to the straight line. So I called it in my videos, the gap, right? So it's like the boat going down the lake, right? When you see the wake and after the boat goes by and you see it, the gap, right? The waves. But what are they doing? As you evolve as a soul, you see those waves coming closer and closer because you're realizing slowly but surely that what you're witnessing isn't taking place, right? And then when the waves come crashing together, a near-death experience, you realize all of this is bullshit, right? I was alive on the other side. This is nothing, okay? I knew where I was. I said it. I'm home. I'm home. I was alive. I felt more alive there than being attached to this sack of shit than I've ever felt, okay? So it's meant to draw you in. It's meant to suck you in. It's meant to get you completely lost, discombobulated, and all of that, right? Only to be found. You came here to experience some things that you wanted to experience. God chose this for me. I just was the dumbass that said, yeah, well, sure, no problem. I'll die for the 3,289th time for you, pal. I'm kidding. But You want to experience certain things, right? But what you're experiencing is never really ever taken place. You've never, ever, 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 ever left home. You've never taken a dump. You've never had sex. You've never water skied. You never went grocery shopping. You never ate a steak. You never had a salad. Moms, you never spit out kids, right? This Avatar did. Is this Avatar real? Like in the movie Avatar, when you saw him the first time and you saw his consciousness go through the tube and into the Avatar, and then the Avatar's eyes awoke? That's all that's happening, guys. You're still at home. Okay? You're controlling this Avatar through your dreams. That's it. Telquire, hey Jason, hope you're doing very well. It's been stressful, but I'm doing all right, thank you. And keep going, because you are what am I? The Jesus of this generation. Oh, I'm beyond honored. I truly am. I truly am. I love you guys so much. Even if there's only 8 in here or 25 people watching, I am truly honored by your love and continued support. I truly am. I cannot tell you enough. Again, guys, for all the new people coming in here, zero care factor. There is zero care factor here, Andrew. None. I don't care about anything here. Nothing. I mean, when my twin flame comes back, and she is, because the Holy Spirit said, yes, when you're established, right, there won't be the giddy little school bumps and the butterflies and all this. That's just not there, right? It'll be, hey, how are you? I'll give her a hug and I'll kiss her and say, I love you so much. Tears maybe a little bit, but the goosebumps and all that giddy, all that, I'm getting a new car today, or I bought my house. Oh, look at that. I could care less. Why I enjoy talking to you guys, because I'm talking about something that matters. I don't care about, Johnny did this at work, and I'm going to go out. I don't want to hear your small talk, your dribble shit. I don't want, that's why I don't want to go out there. The husband's doing, I don't want to hear it. It's so uninteresting, and I don't care. It sounds cruel. It sounds mean, but that's what happens when, I don't like using this word yet, enlightenment, but that's what happens when you are truly awake in the dream. Okay? When awakening truly takes place, it is in outright rejection of everything taking place in your life. Now, I still have to live in it, right? I could put a gun to my head and kill myself, but I'm going to come back and relive it anyway because I didn't finish it. But I still have to play the game. Now I'm aware of the rules. When somebody asks me, well, who are you? I'm nobody. And they look at you like, what do you mean you're nobody? I'm nobody. Where are you going in life? What are you doing? Nowhere. And then they just simply walk away from you because it's way too much for them to even comprehend. So when I tell them that I'm nobody, that means I'm simply nobody. I am God pretending in this infinite amount of smallness, pretending to be Jason Janis, or the universe pretending to be Jason Janis in the here and now, right? Well, the here and now is really the past, but for our sake, it's here and now, right? So, well, where are you going? Nowhere. I'm already home. Where do I need to go? Right? Kind of like I tell you guys, the hamster running on the wheel, running around. Where's the hamster going? Nowhere. He gets off in the same place that he did before, except he wore himself out. Now he's going to go lay down and crash, right? So what I really had to do this week was I really had to let go and surrender. I began to worry. Right? That's why I said, fuck this. I'm not staying in California. I'm going to Arizona. I've got one shot at this. I've got possibly enough money to drive 12 hours straight and get somewhere to another truck stop to become flat out broke. But at least it'll be a cheaper place to live. But then, as Verena said, the gut instinct took place, right? I said, something said, I cannot go. I cannot leave here. I cannot leave. Right? And then yesterday or today, I got, it was yesterday, I got the confirmation of they used technology. I got a couple videos and they used my exact terminology when I was talking to Father. I need answers. I need this. All of this. Okay. I said, I'm trying not to panic. You won't let me have a job. I have completely run out of money. I am broke. Okay. You will not let me have a job. Okay. It's costing me $550 a week to live here. You will not let me have a job. And out it came. Absolute confirmation. My exact wording. 2 different people on 2 different platforms. That was it. Confirmation done. I need to stay right here. Complete and total, as Verena just said, complete and total surrender. I am not going to worry about it anymore. Today was more confirmation, but I've had angel numbers up the wazoo. When I mean angel, 19, 19, 10, 10, 12, 12, 16, 16, 21, 21, 20, 20. Okay? 3, 3, 3s. I saw 11, 11, and 12, 12 today. Absolute confirmations, right? I am right where I need to be, and everything is going on plan. But the worry started to come from the ego, right? Because when you awaken, the ego dies. So I'm not giving into the ego. So what is the ego? Well, you need a job. Why aren't you looking for work? Well, then what happens? Then you start to second guess yourself. You start to fall into panic, fear, right? What person out there in the world isn't working, trying to provide for themselves, right? Because I'm in the void, guys, right? The old self is still here. The new self hasn't arrived yet, right? So I'm in this mix of old and new, right? What am I going to do? Am I going to go like this to the old man? Hey, fuck off. I don't believe you. I'm taking it to Arizona. Or am I going to truly just, now, was I really in panic mode? No, but, thoughts, the mind won't shut up, meditating became a little bit difficult. I couldn't get that guy to shut up, right? So today was absolute confirmation. I'm staying here. I will use another week. Something is going to happen within the week. That I have no doubt. So, and that was it, guys. Let's see. Twin flames. They remember what a twin flame is, guys. Okay. The difference between a soulmate and a twin flame. A soulmate is a bestie. Like here, I'm sure some of you have your best females, right? Girls, guys, your besties. They'll do anything for you, right? Well, when we create our lives, your besties do the same thing. Okay. They're there for you. They interact in your life however you want them to. You do that for them. That's a bestie. That's a soulmate. Twin flame is your exact vibrational frequency. It's like you finding, I don't like using this terminology, but your identical twin. Okay. For me, my twin flame is my own divine feminine, my own divine feminine frequency. I'm both male and female. All of you are. Okay. So finding my twin flame is finding my own self. Now, we're all one, right? But we're all vibrating at a different frequency. We're all in a different dimension here on Earth. That's another topic for another story. But basically, it's me finding my very own frequency. And that is why when we came together, it was an instant mesh, an instant jive. Our lovemaking was beyond anything. Our connection, like she said, you can finish my thoughts, right? She knew she was the only one that ever understood me in my entire life. Why? Because she literally is me. She's projecting out her own frequency. And this is what I look like in her divine masculine, right? So that is a twin flame. It's very rare. You don't get them that often. Soulmates, yes. Twin flames, minute amount of people will experience a twin flame relationship. Surrender. That's it. You have to surrender it. When I told you guys, when you're trying to fight the current in the river, right? When you stick your hand in the current and you grab that water and you squeeze it and you open your hand, there's no water left, right? But when you cup your hand in the lake and you hold it, you've got water. Surrender. It's like trying to grab a handful of sand and squeezing it. When you open up your hand, there's nothing there. But if you scoop your hand in the sand and hold it, you got a mound full of sand. It is surrender. So the ego tried to get me all worked up all week, right? And I kept fighting it. Right? I finished this book. I am working on the workbook now. And I'll tell you what today's topic was, okay? Today's workbook practice. I see nothing as it is now. I see nothing as it is now, meaning it's not real. What you're seeing now doesn't exist, is what Jesus is saying, right? I see nothing as it is now, because as I see things now, they do not exist. Lesson number 9. There's 365 lessons in this workbook. That means I will be on this book for another year. I got done with the reading, which was over 930 pages, and now I'm on the workbook part. I say that saying, and I look at things all day long. I see nothing as it is now, because everything I see now doesn't exist. Okay? So I encourage each and every one of you to grab this book, this color of the book. There's a blue cover and this cover. It's like a dark purple, all right? Because it's got the annotated version, the complete and annotated version. This comes directly from Jesus. And he was pushing me for years after my NDE. And I finally started reading it at the end of 2024 and finished it a few weeks ago. And I've begun the workbook now. Okay. Let's see. User, is the instinct of preservation from the ego or the higher? It's from the ego. Why do you have to preserve yourself? From what? Right? What is the ego? Where's the ego's domain? Stuff the body, right? Any bodily pleasures, masturbation, sex. Oh, look at, I'm going to go from a girl's standpoint here, female. Oh, I've got the same blouse. Her tits are too small. Nah, that's ugly on her, right? That's the ego, self-preservation. Look at me, right? Or, oh yeah, those shoes are ugly, nah. That's all self-preservation, right? It's the ego. It's the body is the ego. It's the ego's domain, period. Popping in real quick, I recently read more souls these days are choosing to be twin flames than before. Still rare, though. Hi there, hun. Welcome. I hope you're enjoying your evening. It's a very rare thing. Now, that's what I don't know is why it's chosen. I don't know if we do get to choose that at home. That's a very good thing. I mean, I could ask Father on that, but or does he choose it for you? That I don't know. But we have free will when we choose our lives. So I'm pretty sure, as you just said, Mary, that we get to choose the twin flame connection. So when you have that twin flame, it's not just for one life, it's for all of them. But remember, in the moment of the Big Bang, all of your lives were created and lived. And then, whoop, Father fixed it, and there's nothing in that gap, right? Ego is inward thinking, correct? Absolutely. Absolutely. You're welcome. Self-absorption, absolutely. Ego is all about the self, self-preservation. Look at me, right? All about bodily pleasures, all about everything, right? And even guys will do that, right? They'll look at that guy and, do the same thing, right? But that's why Jesus taught what? You need to go within. There's nothing in this that you need to go within. There's nothing inside you but blood and guts, right? Your ego wraps around your body. Okay, that's where the ego, not the ego, but your soul. Jesus taught you to go within the mind. Remember that song? Free your mind, the rest will follow. Same concept. Free your mind from the illusion of self. You are not a body. You've never been a body. You will never be a body. Okay? That's the ego. That's the dark glass of the ego. You are not self. That is the illusion. You are one with Father, and you are one with everybody on this planet. And guys, I'm going to let it go from there because I got my wings. They're still a little hot, and I am going to mow down on them. Now, remember, tomorrow night, same time, except this will be the panel, right? The collaboration. So I don't know what we're going to talk about, but tonight I just wanted to get out Mary Magdalene, who she truly was. I'm going to get some food. Hopefully to see you tomorrow, Verena. Thank you so much for love and support. I am. Interesting thought, especially when you take into account vanishing twin syndrome. People alive started out as a twin, but only made it as to one. Very good. I will. Thank you, guys. I'm going to eat my food. I love you. I hope to see you tomorrow night. All my love to you guys.